Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
State opposition will target the government's climate change bill when Parliament returns this week. Labor wants jobs and vulnerable people better protected, also calling for an independent parliamentary committee to be established.
We believe that action on climate change should be inclusive of all political parties and independents to make sure we are making decisions in the best interest of future generations.
We think we've got the balance right. We're not into sniping from the sidelines or politicking at the side. We want to pass this legislation.
The government, meanwhile, will introduce its long-awaited family violence reforms bill, which it says will strengthen legal responses. Tasmania's daily COVID case numbers have dipped for a third straight day. The BA2 variant is the dominant strain among the 1,305 new infections. There are currently 20 people in hospital with COVID. The state government is urging people to book their booster shots. Hundreds of runners are now burnt out after powering up Launceston's steepest street for this year's Balfour Burn. While the pros smashed the course record, a long way back were the Bornaby David Boons taking part in the inaugural Boonie Burn.
The starting line of the Balfour Burn is when it all hits home. Dwarfed by the 25% gradient ahead, runners need something seriously motivating.
Pretty close, wasn't it? Dad maybe just got you. What do you reckon?
Yes.
How are you feeling?
Great. I think great.
How do you think you're going to feel at the top?
Man, it's good.
In 81-year-old Andrew Barnes' case, he just likes proving age can't slow you down.
4 minutes today. I did it by myself yesterday morning, 10 o'clock, 5.5 minutes. But they want me to go next year and do it in 3 minutes, so I said I might give it a miss.
Whatever your reason, St Giles says thank you. The event raises thousands for the disability support provider.
We're always looking to find little projects that we can put money towards.
And those watching got their money's worth. The hardcore runners glided up the gut-busting hill, led by Lagana's Joe Phillips, the 37-year-old setting a new record time, 58 seconds, smashing the previous best of 106.
It does hurt, yeah. I just thought there was someone right behind me the whole time, so that helps.
Not quite hot on his tail were the first 11 of David Boons for the first Boonie Burn. While all the Boons agree an afternoon at the locals sounds far more appetising than running up Launceston's steepest street, organisers are dangling a mouth-watering carrot. 52 cans of beer are on offer to Balfour's briskest Boon, and well, that's good enough for me. Without a drop of rain in sight, there was no chance of a washout or invoking the Duckworth-Lewis method, which may have meant we only needed to run part of the hill. So, with all options exhausted, bar the exhaustion itself, we got on with it, and the whites turned to sweat.
Played a straight back of that one.
Making for a hard-earned thirst and a lot of laughs along the way.
Trying to beat my personal time up the hill every year.
Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Airbnb has warned Hobart City Council any ban on short-term stay accommodation would harm the local economy. Council's City Planning Committee will consider a report outlining ways to restrict it. The company claims the changes would place Tasmania on an unequal footing, also saying it's unfair to solely blame businesses like them for Hobart's housing crisis. The committee will meet tomorrow night. For the second time in less than a month, Blind Cricket Tasmania has invited locals to play in an all-inclusive game. With more than a dozen players strapping on their pads, the original rules have been adjusted to cater for those who are living with vision impairments.
The bell is inside the ball, so you can appreciate they have developed their skills more around listening to where the ball is.
Officials are hoping to have a full side compete at the 2024 National Cricket Inclusion Championships. Dark and moody themes have shone at the prestigious Glover Art Prize. Victorian artist Peter Watts claimed the People's Choice Award for Hidden Seclusion, which emphasised the light and shade of rural landscapes. While the Children's Choice went to fellow Victorian Mark McCarthy for High Moon, which reflected the artist finding solace most often at night during lockdown.
Usually the People's Choice, the Children's Choice and the winner have very different paintings and artworks, but this year I've noticed that the three of them are very similar. They are moody, ethereal, majestic depictions of the Tasmanian landscape.
The curator says the Children's Choice Award usually goes to artworks depicting an animal, making this year's recipient unique. For the first time in Hobart's history, more than 60 locals have walked towards a brighter future for cancer sufferers. The Melanoma March is raising awareness around Tasmania's second highest cancer diagnosis, as well as funds for a world-first treatment that will use a patient's genetics to work towards a higher recovery rate.
Here in Tasmania, we've gone just over $6,000 for this event.
Without these funds, these trials don't exist, and we won't find new treatments that actually are going to help reduce the death rate from melanoma.
The Melanoma Institute is hoping to reach a nationwide $1 million target by the end of the month. Hobart's Mach 1 has marked World Storytelling Day ahead of a special birthday later this year. Every one of the 114 rooms showcases tales of people and moments significant to Tasmania. The hotel will also celebrate its 5th birthday in June, with locals set to have a role in that celebration.
We're also asking people from around Tasmania to be part of a competition to give us a story of someone that was really meaningful in their lives, and hopefully they'll make their way into a room.
Around 200,000 people have passed through the hotel. A new door-to-door check-in service is being seen around Tasmania's regional streets, aiming to increase mental health support and work to shut down the stigma which can be associated with seeking help.
A knock on the door that could make all the difference.
Hello. It's a real surprise, to people that people are actually coming out and asking around the social and emotional wellbeing of householders, and opening up that door for those conversations to happen.
The ACD initiative assisting the Georgetown community through direct connection, aiming to offer those struggling with their mental health avenues for guidance.
Because of the stigma and other issues around mental health conditions, sometimes the people that are most in need of help are the furthest from it.
Professionals are targeting regional areas out of the city with limited support systems.
We're looking at places with relatively poor social economic disadvantage, and trying to get an idea of just how deep the problems are.
These people in Georgetown feel like there aren't many services, and that it's also just really difficult to start the process of getting help.
The project's people connectors hitting the ground running, having already approached more than 20 streets and 200 houses, and the response overwhelming, with some willing to talk for more than an hour.
Some householders, they've been lonely, nobody to talk to. So when they see us knock at their doors, they are pretty happy to engage us.
The Wellways organisation partnering with government and industry to connect more people with mental health services and pinpoint other areas of concern.
Hopefully we get conversations started about mental health, we increase a bit of awareness about mental health is an important thing for everyone, and if you need to get help, we can provide some resources.
The initiative will run until May 13th. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
The Devils girls have treated fans to a thumping win in their final home game. The Tasmania Devils booted 16 majors in a mammoth 100-point win against the Bendigo Pioneers at North Hobart Oval. Georgia Clark was again crowned best on ground, kicking 4 goals, while the Pioneers managed just 1 goal in the final quarter. The Devils face a tough assignment next week against the undefeated Dandenong Stingrays. Scott Roth has played down his clash with Illawarra's Antonius Cleveland, which occurred moments after the Hawks secured a 26-point win over the Jack Jumpers in Launceston. The loss also dealing a blow to Tasmania's chances of making the playoffs.
It was Scott Roth like we've never seen before. The Jack Jumpers coach fired up post-match after Antonius Cleveland's apparent mocking of his celebrations from their clash last Sunday. Tensions momentarily boiling over.
This is really
in danger of spilling over.
Yeah, he just needs to cool his jets. Yeah. In this moment, Scott Roth.
This is not a good look.
Both coaches playing it down after the game.
I talked to Gorge, and Gorge said he would handle it, and Gorge is first class all the way.
I love my guys, understand the Scott Roth situation, but again, nothing but respect. We move on.
On court, it was a bleak night for Tasmania's team. The Jack Jumpers led at quarter time before Illawarra produced a basketballing lesson.
They find Jessup, and that's what he can do.
A 32-point second quarter blitz put the Hawks up at half-time, with that lead extending through the third. Cleveland leading the charge, scoring a game-high 22 points.
Accelerates over the top of Adams.
I love him. I love him. I got a man crush.
Josh Adams, a lone hand for the Jack Jumpers, collecting 21 points, but it wasn't enough. The Hawks too strong in offense and defense, winning 91-65.
They were the much more physical, much more dominant team. I thought they did an outstanding job of just owning the floor on both ends of the floor.
Sitting 3 games out of the top 4, Tasmania face a difficult path to the playoffs. The coach refusing to think that far ahead.
We've never talked about the ladder or playoffs or whatever it may be at the end of the day. It's just the next game.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Alex Peroni is back racing, clocking the second fastest time in pre-season testing ahead of the Euro Formula Championship. Peroni buckled up for Spain's DriveX team at the circuit in Barcelona. The season begins in May. Jed Beaton has crashed out of qualifying in the Motocross Grand Prix and was nearly taken out by another rider. The North West Coast product wasn't hurt but had to pull out because of damage to his bike. A huge crowd of Argentinian fans watched the action. The main race is on tonight. Tasmania's Jacob Despard has taken out the 100 metres at the Melbourne Track Classic, crossing the line in 10.11 seconds. Despard is currently being coached by correspondents. His mentor lives in Sweden.
When it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here, he's just waking up. So he gets videos of my training for breakfast and I get instant feedback.
Despard backed up in the 4x100 metres relay, passing the baton to fellow Tasmanian Jack Hale. Hale says he liked running the last leg.
It's awesome. I'd love to stay there. I mean, we got a really consistent group now. We've got guys that can run very quick flat speed wise. So when we get everyone together, it's going to be something impressive.
Hale is more familiar with the relay's third leg, which he ran at the 2018 Commonwealth Games. Got a good reason, got a good result in the $100,000 Tasmania Cup.
In front, got a good reason. Back to down the outside, Riley Major coming late, but got a good reason, leads all the way.
Paying $15 for the win, the roughie led from start to finish. The Tasmania Cup returned to Group 1 status this year. To netball, Northern Hawks remains undefeated after accounting for Kingston 61-45. The reigning State League champion Cavaliers also enjoyed a win, albeit with a tighter margin. Cavs had a 7-point buffer at half-time and managed to hold on despite a fight back by Cripps Waratah, the final score 48-53. Meanwhile, Devon has had a disappointing game against Arrows. The North West Coast outfit was comprehensively beaten 24-52. The young team had a strong finish to the game though, putting on 10 points in the last quarter to tighten the margin.
Good evening. 24 was the state's top today in Launceston, Hobart 23, 21 across Burnie and Devonport. Strawn and Grove reaching 22, 18 in Lyowini and St Helens 21. On the close-up, mostly cloudy conditions over the state with clear patches developing over the north. Further out, clear skies across most of the mainland with a frontal cloud band over southern WA. Tomorrow shows a trough to the west of Tasmania, reaching into Victoria and South Australia. Southeast to northeasterly winds tomorrow 10 to 20 knots, swells up to 4 metres in the west and south and below 1 metre in the north. Tomorrow's forecast now, Hobart and Ooze cloudy, Dover 23. In the north, Launceston 24, a shower or two across Devonport and Scottsdale. Burnie and Stanley tomorrow expecting a shower or two, Strawn 24. St Helens 21, 22 in Swansea and cloudy in Ross. The UV forecast is high 6s and 7s across the state. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now, Tuesday showers about the west and south, Wednesday showers across western, southern and central areas, and Thursday showers about the west, fine elsewhere. Capital cities 29 and partly cloudy in Perth tomorrow. Adelaide mostly sunny and 36 in Broome. And currently Hobart 16 and cloudy, Launceston 23 and Devonport 19 and sunny. That's all in weather, Lou.
Beautiful, thanks for that, Jackie. And that's all your news for now as well. Thank you for joining us. We hope you have a lovely Sunday evening. Good night.